If you're like me and you love the look of a 135mm lens, but you don't want to pay the nearly $2,300 for the Sony 135mm GM lens, today I have an affordable solution for you. This is the 7Artisans 135mm f1.8 for Sony E-mount, full frame, and with autofocus. I'm actually quite excited about this lens because 135mm is one of my favorites. You can see it's kind of the usual stuff. Lens hood. The actual lens itself, which looks really nice. Nice clicky ring, easy to turn. Focus ring feels really nice. Yeah, it's heavy. It's got a function switch. It's got an autofocus manual focus switch. Another function switch, very nice. So it has a 82mm front filter thread. The minimum focus distance is 0.68 meters or 2.2 feet. And of course, one of my favorite things is that. So it is an electronically controlled aperture. It's not mechanical, but we'll play with that here in just a minute. And coming around to the back, there is a USB-C port for firmware updates, which is actually very easy to do. And then it does have a nice little rubber gasket here, so there is some degree of weather sealing, although I probably wouldn't just run out into the rain with it if it was raining too hard. I love using a 135mm lens in a few different situations, and that's pretty much, or those situations are pretty much the way I've been testing this lens since it was sent to me by 7Artisans. And yes, 7Artisans did send this lens to me. They're not paying me, they're not sponsoring this video, they don't get to see this video before it's launched, but I do get to keep this lens, and I'm glad, because overall, it's a really good lens. There are a few caveats that you need to know. Some of those I think will probably get ironed out via firmware updates, which we'll also talk about in just a little bit. But to start off with, I use this lens to film and do some photographs at a conference for Arctic Nations that was held here in Anchorage, with a bunch of dignitaries from around the world. And most of this was handheld on my a7 IV, and surprisingly, it did really well. Now, if you want the best out of it, you're gonna have to set the stabilization on your camera to 135mm, but it did perform really well overall handheld for me, even just one-handing it while I was filming the conference. Overall, though, the imagery it produced, really nice. Having that extra bright aperture of f1.8 makes it work well in low light. You can see here, like, it produces some good-looking images. It definitely was close to on par with the Sony that I had on my FX6. Not quite, but again, there's a huge price difference between these two lenses. So as a budget, affordable alternative to the Sony, I would say it performed really well. And this was actually on a much earlier firmware, so a lot of this has been improved even with later firmware. But you can see here, like, it locked to people's eyes, it held focus well, it found focus well, and apart from the fact that I clearly had been drinking a little too much coffee, so I had to stabilize this image in post, it did produce some good images in a very odd sort of mixed lighting environment to be able to capture this. Beyond the conference, another way I love using 135mm is getting detail shots of stuff, and you can see here that, like, it really does get nice detail shots. I shot most of these at either f1.8 or f2.8, depending on the shot, and you can see, like, they look really good overall. But beyond detail shots, I love this lens for B-roll, and you can see here just a clip of me working at this, like, with 135mm. Man, it looks really good because you get this incredible depth and separation between your foreground and your background. And then 7Artisans sent me a firmware update for this. And so real quick, it is super easy to update the firmware. You just plug the lens in via USB-C cable that is included with the lens, actually. But you can use pretty much any USB-C cable. And then it pops up on your computer like a hard drive would, and you simply drag the .dat file over, let it fall in, or let it drop into the drive on the lens. The lens will eject itself, and then when the firmware update is done, it pops back up. You know it's done. You can put it back on your camera. And since then, there have been some improvements, especially in the focus area. So testing this out, now granted this is a 135mm lens, and if you're going at f1.8 from extreme distances, like minimum focus distance, to extreme far distances, you might find a little bit of issues here and there. But if you're using something like tap on the screen, you can see here the focus is quick. It's accurate, like it bounces back and forth. There's a little bit of focus breathing, but it's not bad overall. And then if you're using something like eye detect or face detect for humans, you can see here that the autofocus actually responds pretty quick and pretty snappy. I did have an issue when I was coming from extreme minimum focus distance to the back wall, and here it was having a little bit harder time, but as soon as I backed off a little bit and gave it maybe a little more like 10 feet or so, what would it be, 3 meters, then it did a much better job and was much faster. And you can see here, like, it's tracking my eye, it's tracking whichever eye is closest to the camera like it should. And honestly, like, it's looking really great. And again, this was at a very shallow f-stop to get very blurry background. Another way I love to use 135mm lenses is a B or C camera when I'm doing interviews, because if I have enough space, using a 50mm as my wide A camera and then the 135mm as the B camera looks amazing, and it can give you some really very nice differences between the two. So here you can see camera A, my 50mm lens set up with me, because I can't show you any of the footage I actually shot with this way, because it's not a documentary that's been released yet, but it you can see, like, it looks good. The 50mm looks great. But then when you switch to the B camera, or the 135mm, it really looks good. It has some very nice detail, very tight detail, very good focus, held on to me the whole entire time that I was messing around with this, just testing it out before I went out and filmed these interviews for this documentary. It looked great. Now, I don't do some highly scientific deep dive testing, looking at coma or specular highlights or anything like that. Those topics are covered far better by people like Christopher Frost or others who really know what they're doing. I really live to work with these things in the real world, and that's exactly how I've tested it. Overall, I've been really impressed with how this lens is handled, the different situations I've thrown it in. It looks great, the coloring is good, the contrast is good, it mixes in nicely with my other lenses, and I really enjoy having this 135mm in my kit. This lens is available for Sony E-mount now and Nikon Z-mount, so if you want to pick it up, there are links in the description, and yeah, it's a pretty great affordable alternative if you don't want to spend $200 or almost $2,300 on the Sony, or I think there's a Sigma version, and I'm sure there's other versions out there too. But overall, it's a great lens and it works really well. Next, you're going to want to watch this video right here. I'll see you over there. As always, if you have questions, ask me in the comments below, or you can join my live stream, which happens most Wednesday nights at 4 p.m. Alaska time, 8 p.m. Eastern. We can have more of a conversation. I can answer questions that maybe I didn't get to in this video about this lens. I'll see you again soon in the next one. Cheers.